Okay, so I'm going to do a couple examples today to support Unit 8 Objective 2. And first one we're going to do is using 2 points. We're going to find the distance between and we're going to find the midpoint. So I'm going to do the distance over here. I'm actually going to do 2 different ways. Is using the distance formula, okay, which is the square root of the differences in the x's, and I'm going to do 2 minus negative 4 squared plus negative 5 minus negative 8, should be 2 negatives, squared. So I get, it's 2 minus negative 4 is 6 squared. I get negative 5 minus negative 8 is what it should read. It's negative 5 minus negative 8. Should be plus 3 squared, which is 36 plus 9, which is the square root of 45, which becomes 3 root 5. Okay. The other way I'm going to show you is the way I prefer to do it, is to do it the Pythagorean method, and which is really where the distance formula is from. And I'm going to say the distance squared is, I'm going to look at these two values and realize that they're 6 units apart. And I'm going to square it. I realize that negative 5 and negative 8 are 3 units apart on the number line. And I'm going to bring d over at the same time, or square root at the same time. Square root of 36 plus 9, again, is the square root of 45. Okay? Which, if we get a decimal approximation for, is 6.708 units. Okay, so that's how we find the distance. Doesn't matter which method you use, whether you want to go from the formula or use the Pythagorean method, which I prefer because I don't make mistakes on subtraction then, and hopefully you don't either. Okay, so the midpoint. To find the middle of any two numbers, we're just going to add the x's together and find the average of them, or just find the average of them, average of the y's, and there's our point. So our midpoint is simply 2 plus negative 4 over 2, comma, negative 5 plus negative 8 over 2. These I'm adding, unlike here, I actually subtracted them. And so this becomes negative 2 over 2, and this is negative 13 over 2, so my midpoint is at negative 1, negative 13 halves. So if you were to draw a sketch of this, 2 negative 5 is down here, and negative 4, negative 8 is over here somewhere, probably further down. This distance would be our root 45. This point that falls in the middle is that one. Okay? All right, that's a graphical depiction of it. All right, so on number 2, we're going to find the center, the radius, the area, and the circumference, and we're going to graph it. Okay, I had to tape over this, so it says x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared is 36. So based on that, our center of our circle is the value that makes that 0, which is 2. So our x-coordinate is 2, our y-coordinate is, number that makes that 0 is negative 3. And our radius is the square root of this, because this is r squared. So the radius is square root of that, which is 6. Okay? All right. So I found the center and the radius. The area of this circle, and I'm going to graph it in a minute, is pi. The formula for that is pi r squared, which is pi times 36, which you really should write as 36 pi. That'll be units squared. Our circumference is 2 pi r, and it's 2 pi times 6, which is 12 pi. Okay? All right. Now to graph this, I'm going to graph the center first, which is 2, negative 3. Let's put a little x there, across there. Then I move my radius in all 4 directions, cardinal directions from there. So I'm going to go 6 units left, 6 units to the right. I'm going to go 6 units up. That's 3 more. 6 units down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I always draw a box, because I can draw a much better circle within that box. And it will help us when we get to ellipses also. Okay. So I am going to sketch this, and there's my graph. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to write the equation, we're going to go backwards, and we're going to write the equation with a center of negative 4, 9, and a radius of 11. Now, we could also be given a graph of a picture, and you locate the center, and you measure out the radius, or count out the radius horizontally, like what we did here. I know there are a couple of them from there, so you'd count out the radius is 6, so it'd be 36, and you look at the center is at 2, or 2, negative 3, so it's x minus 2, y plus 3. So we could give it to you as a picture, write the equation, or we could give it to you in words. Okay, so if you look at this one, we're given the center with a radius of 11. So based on, if we use, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to radius squared, and this is h, and this is k. So this is going to be y plus 4 squared plus y minus 9, this is x. I'm sorry, it's the x value. It's x plus 4 squared, y minus 9 squared is equal to our radius squared, which is 121. And that would be our equation of our circle. So our x value goes here, y value goes here, and there is an addition in between. Okay? All right, the last one is the tricky one we did towards the end, and that is the complete the square to find the center and the radius. So we need to regroup the like things and move the constant. So probably going to do this in more than one step. So I'm going to rewrite it as x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 12y is equal to 29. And I move the constant over. Okay, I'm going to create some space so I can complete the square. So it's x squared minus 8x blank plus y squared plus 12y blank is equal to 29. Okay, so I got to complete the square in each of these. So I'm going to take half of negative 8, which is negative 4, and square it, which is 16. If I add 16 to the left, I got to balance it by adding 16 to the right. Okay, I'm going to complete the square on this one, which half of 12 is 6, and 6 squared is 36. I added 36 to the left, so I got to add 36 to the right. Okay, so I'm now going to factor this. What are my two factors of 16 that get me to negative 8? Well, it's going to be x minus 4 times x minus 4. Yes, I know I could write that as x minus 4 squared. You could certainly do that. What are two factors of 36 that get me to 12? Would be y plus, it would be 6 and 6. And over here, I get 36 and 16 is 52. That makes it, and 29 is 81. So when I then go and factor this, it's x minus 4 squared plus y plus 6 squared is equal to 81. Okay? So my center is at 4, negative 6, and my radius is 9. Okay? So I just completed the square on it, found the center. It's a number that makes it 0. Number that makes it 0 gives me my center, and the square root of this is my radius. Okay, thank you. Hope this helps.